Hi, I just wanted to give a little bit of an announcement about church opening and COVID restrictions and this kind of thing. So corporation has met and they have decided that we are going to open up and follow the province's guidelines for worship spaces, which is that the restrictions have been lifted. So we had been quite cautious. We wanted to make sure that when that announcement was made that we didn't open up right away, and we wanted to see what was going to happen generally in the society, and I think that we're going to be okay. No one knows this for sure, obviously, but we're confident enough that we're willing to risk this. So we are going to open up. The province has released restrictions. We have been very careful for a very long time. And based on my own conversations with people, I suspect that we have about 90% of our people, maybe even higher than that, of our people being vaccinated. Obviously not everyone is going to be vaccinated, and that's their decision. We allow people to eat at McDonald's. We allow people to smoke. We allow people to drink alcohol and to drive on Highway 2. There's risks involved in a lot of different activities that we do. I think we're just going to allow people to make their own decisions on these things. And generally what we were aiming at is a herd immunity, which is among our own people. Canadians have been quite vaccinated, and so I think that we can be pretty confident. For those who are over 80, if they're not vaccinated, then they seem to be at the most risk. But I think that our congregation is quite highly vaccinated, and so we're pretty confident in in the safety of meeting. This does not mean that the virus is not still going to continue through our society. The virus is still going to be with us. There is going to be the Delta variant, and then there's going to be other variants that are going to be a part of this. That's what diseases do, they mutate. And so what the vaccine was meant to do was to reduce serious illness and reduce the risk of death. And so even though that virus is still going to be around us, what we were hoping is going to be that it was going to reduce the death rate. And there's going to be no end to the variants. So this is just something we're going to have to live with, the same as we live with the flu and lots of other diseases that are around. I do also want to say that there's a lot of polemic out there around people who are vaccinated or not vaccinated, or masking or not masking, and I'm really not interested in people judging one way or another. I really don't want to see people judging people for wearing masks or not wearing masks. I don't want to see people judging people for being vaccinated or not being vaccinated. I think that we need to have a certain level of mutual respect. And the CDC has, even though there's a lot of information out there, so the Center for Disease Control in the United States showed that both vaccinated people and unvaccinated people can be carriers, right? So I know there's a bit of a finger wagging at non-vaccinated people right now, but I don't think I think they're putting themselves at risk more than they're putting anyone else at risk, based on what I'm reading. It should also be recognized that remaining closed comes with other risks, and those are risks especially considering mental illness, people who have cognitive or memory issues. It seems having things shut down has been very, very hard on them. Not having programs and not having interpersonal interactions seems to have been very, very hard on that demographic. People who struggle with addictions. Kids' anxiety and suicidal ideation is very, very high right now. And that is very alarming and has to be put into the mix regarding how we make our decisions. So it seems like being ultra safe on this side puts these people at risk. And so hopefully by opening things up more, we'll be able to bring the risk up in those other factors. We're not only dealing with COVID in our society. So the disease will continue to be with us. Having 0% risk is not an option regarding COVID or regarding anything else in our society. It will mostly continue to spread, and some of those numbers are still magnifying. So, but it seems to be that that's happening among children, and the spread among children, that the disease doesn't seem to have been that dangerous when it comes to kids. There are some in the States who are seeing in the ICUs RSV, which is a different type of virus. There are kids who are especially 2 and under who are ending up in some ICUs, but that actually doesn't have anything to do with COVID. So if you are fully vaccinated, then there are some things in our society that are statistically more likely to kill you, including car accidents. Like in 2018, there were 1,922 killed in car accidents. The flu or pneumonia, in 2019, that killed almost 7,000 people. Parkinson's, 1.1% of 100 or 1.1 out of 100,000 will die from Parkinson's. Diabetes kills 19 people per day. So like there are other things out there that are killing people, and that's not to diminish those individual lives that are lost. I think we do have to recognize the sacredness of each of those human lives, but we do have to recognize that we live in a society where risk is just a part of the package, and to not take risk over here sometimes makes a vulnerability over here. So not everyone is going to agree with this, obviously. Even within, we've seen this in different doctors, different health professionals disagree with this. So we're not going to have 100% of everyone agreeing. There is going to be a certain level of fear, there's going to be a certain level of anxiety, there's going to be a certain number of people who think that this decision is unwise, probably on the basis of, towards the church, but also towards the provincial government and health authorities in general. So we just want to recognize not everyone's on the same page here, and we acknowledge that. If we didn't start opening up when everything else was, then we'd have criticism from the other side. So there's no way of not having someone be bothered by what we're about to do, either staying closed or opening up. So we are going to provide a number of options. We are going to continue on with Zoom. If you have been participating in worship by Zoom, you will still be able to do that. We will be broadcasting our church service on Sunday through Zoom. I will continue to put up something on YouTube. It won't be the exact same thing that you've been seeing, but we will have a YouTube presence. You are welcome to come here. You're welcome to mask. We will make sure that masks are still available. Masking is going to be optional. So, and anybody who wants to can wear a mask and can make sure they're very sanitized, and they can participate in coffee time or not participate in coffee time. And we don't want to shame anyone for their individual decisions around that. Everyone is doing the best they can to try to process the information that's coming to them from a variety of different sources, and depending on the news that you're watching, you might be leaning one way or another. So we want to make an allowance for people who are going to make their own decisions. There are some people who are very immunocompromised, and they will choose to not come, and they will choose to participate by Zoom or by YouTube, and there's nothing wrong with that. We would actually encourage you and recommend that you do that if you are immunocompromised, considering these things are still floating around. If you choose to come, I'm going to be giving communion by priestly intinction. That's where I take the bread and I dip it in the cup and then give it to the congregation member. So, and we'll say more about that when you come to worship. Again, I just want to say that no one is to be mistreated or judged for their choices around how comfortable they are coming to worship, in person or not. We just want to allow for a certain level of personal freedom and options here. If you do have concerns, please direct them to the corporation through the church office. A parish council hasn't met around this yet because we did have a kind of standing decision that we were going to open after August 15th when I came back from vacation. And we've just continued on with that decision. But we will continue to watch the numbers. We will continue to follow the provincial health guidelines as well as the diocesan task force guidelines. And if information comes that says that we need to change what we're doing, then we will do that. And we will do that with the direction of corporation and with parish council. We'll make sure we're trying to get wisdom from our elders, our spiritual elders. And we'll make changes as needed. But at the moment, we are going to take a bit of a risk, and we are going to open up. So I really look forward to those of you that I'm going to see on Sunday. I really look forward to seeing you. All right? And please do pray for our society and pray for the health of our church as well. And we pray that we're making the right decision. All right. God bless you.